Welcome everyone. I wanted to let you know kind of what's going to be happening next here. We're going to have an opportunity for people to share a story or two as you wish, and take a little time to do that. And then once we wrap, we're going to make our way out to St. Matthew's Cemetery for services out there. So I invite you, as you're comfortable, probably best to come to the podium to share your stories. That way we're not passing the mic around. But if you have a quick little story or something you'd like to share, encourage you to the podium and share your story, and then whoever wants to come in next can come in afterwards. So, okay, and those who are helping as pallbearers after we wrap up here, we'll tuck Florence in and make our way out to the hearse and on our way to the cemetery. So, good, thanks. I'll open it up to whoever.
was sitting here in the crowd, she would try to dispose of the sadness. Because that's not really her style. She would probably laugh at all of us and give some form of get over it type gesture. She's a tough lady. She, born in 1925. She experienced and lived through things such as World Wars, Great Depression, moon landings, 9/11 attacks, 17 different presidents, at least 7 epidemics, if I can recall U.S. history a little bit, within the last 100 years. She was alive in the absence of and in the creation of things such as microwaves, TVs, cars, normalized aviation travel. And when she was born, it had only been 5 years since women could actually vote in this country. So that can put it in perspective for you a little bit. From my own personal experience, Florence was a huge influence on my life, for sure. Her and Fritz would pick me up from elementary school every single morning, although I lived about a mile away from school. They would pick me up, and on days that I was sick, they would bring me over to their house and would always make sure that I was taken care of. As you know, anybody that knew Fritz or Florence, they're kind of synonymous, so that's why I'm bringing Fritz into it as well, so they can finally actually be together again. They knew that the best remedy for anything was just love over any pharmaceutical or anything that you could put in your body. And they always knew that love was the cure for all. So they would always fill me full of Starburst when I was sick and the things that my mom probably wouldn't want me to eat when I was at their place. So I have fond memories of being at their house, always eating fresh vegetables and fruits from their garden, from their plum trees, going out to visit the horse that was out there and overfeeding it apples, and Fritz and Florence getting upset at me for that. You know, in all, I just say that Florence, she was too big for regular society. I don't know if Florence ever had her license. I don't know if Florence actually ever had a real job. Because if you want to play this game in society that we play, you have to devote usually your heart to your family and your guts to business. But Florence didn't have time for that. She devoted both her heart and her guts to her family. And so you can see that as she was a survivor, she always found a way to make it through, and she always encouraged others to toughen up a little bit and showed them the path in their struggles to find a way through as well. She had this kind of unique nihilistic approach to life where death was always kind of looming, especially ever since Fritz had passed. But in some weird way, that little, couple tablespoons of nihilism was actually a way for you to find positivity in your life, because she just exuded positivity all the time. And Florence always had a great sense of humor, because I'll never forget it, and at least weekly when I would come out of school, I would see her and Fritz sitting there waiting for me, and Fritz would always have this genuine big smile and wave, and his hand would go like this. This is how he waved. He didn't wave like regular people. And so then I'd look over at Florence, and she would be just leaning back in that old blue Buick like a gangster, and she would look at me, and this is how she would wave. Like this. And she would have glasses on, and she would just have this facetious look on her face. And when I would get in the car, at least once a week, somebody would cut us off, or someone would go out of their turn at the four-way stops, and Florence would, she would let her objection be known by throwing up her middle finger, just like this. And whoever it was, and Fritz would look at her and be like, "Don't you do that, you're not the one driving." And she was like, "I don't care, they deserve it." And so, me as a youngster in the back seat, seeing that's who I've become too. So, but no, yeah, Florence, although growing up in a time where she affected me greatly by showing me things such as how to be conservative in such things as how much toilet paper you use, how much bath water you actually really need to use, how to take value in fruit even though it's not pretty, it might have a few bruises on it. All the small things you really don't see that she embodied that weren't actually traumas, they were just tendencies that she had from how she grew up. But they weren't things that hindered her, that she looked back on as life and was mad about. She was capable of great abundance, and with that abundance, she spread that to everybody that she could. And I don't think I see any faces here now, or any that I can recall in my family, that hasn't had their life enriched and improved upon in the presence of Florence Voelker. She affected everybody. It wasn't always in the way that you would imagine it to be, but she did it her way in everything, all the time. And if she was here, as her body, as if her spirit and presence was here with us right now, I would just look at her and tell her that I'm proud of her. I'm proud of the way that she lived. I'm proud of the way that she stood up for herself. I'm proud of the way that she showed me that you can be extremely loving, but you can also have fighting, and that's okay. And we're all going to miss her greatly. We've all been affected by her, and her not being here with us physically anymore is going to leave a void for a minute. But you know, that void will fill, and she would want us all to carry on. So I love you, Florence, and I'll miss you.
I think James summed it up pretty good. Florence, back to this. We have all been affected by her in our lives. Florence never marrying, Florence never having children. Guess what? Florence raised more children than any one mother probably has in so many years. Give the shirt off her back to anyone. She was always there no matter what, her and friends. And cookies. Talk about cookies and bread. The baked bread, the cookies, the everything fresh, making sauerkraut, candy, all these things. There's so many things you can go on and on and on about. And her love for playing cards. Oh, how she loved cards. We are missing someone today. My daughter Melinda couldn't be here, and her partner Amy, living in another state, proves to be difficult. But the love and the caring and everything that goes with it, their time spent with Florence was so precious. And I remember the last time when they were able to visit before COVID, we would always play 500 up at Falwell with her. We walked in, and Sister Sue had lost her husband, and they were sitting there and visiting. And we went and sat down, and Sue had walked away for a minute and stopped, and we had chatted for a minute, and then she walked away. And Florence looked over at Mel and Amy and said, "Are you here to play?" And Mel said, "Well, fine, I'll go get the card." And she goes, "I got it right here. Let's deal." And you know, that was her. They came to play cards. She had been sitting with Sue. She always made sure everyone was involved in everything. Yeah, I think she has touched everyone's hearts in this one, in more than one way. She cared for the people, her friends, the residents up at Falwell's Landing. She would watch over them. She would guide them to their rooms if they didn't know where to go. And she would wheel so fast to find a nurse when someone was trying to get down the elevator. They'd say, Florence would say, "Mary's on the loose, she's getting away." You know, so they could go get her. I mean, just so many things. They said they would never, ever forget Florence sitting at the table, because when the elevator door opened It was Auntie Florence, as proud and as beautiful as ever. And she would be smiling and she would wave and she knew every single person's name and greet them, and we would all stop and talk with her. So today we celebrate her life. And I know there's a piece of her in all of our hearts that will never leave, that will never leave. We've lost some loved ones before her, and she's now reunited with them. And it's all good. It's all good. And as Florence would say, Florence would say, so long for now. So long for now. Thank you.
Give everybody an opportunity, if you'd like, to say your goodbyes in the casket before we tuck her in. And then again, we'll make our way over to St. Matthew's Cemetery for services at about 12:30 at the cemetery. So thanks all for being here, and I'll let you have a few minutes as you say your goodbyes.